sounds like you started watching anime in the 90s like I did, because you mentioned Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon and all of that. Are there any 90s shows that you would like to see make a comeback? Obviously, Sailor Moon Crystal and Dragon Ball have sort of been rebooted. Is there anything else you're like, you know what, I would like this show to come back too?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I would have definitely said, like, yeah, I really got to do Sailor Moon. Like, back to the manga would be really great. And then wishes come true. For the 90s, there's so many enduring classics. And I thought really hard about that. Because a lot of shows are products of their time. For me, I don't know how it would be possible because it's already pretty perfect the way it is. I would like to see Ranma.
I almost suggested Ranma. It's like, you know what? I wonder how Ranma 1/2 would do if you brought it back. I mean, my only concern is that sometimes the anime, like, the animation in Sailor Moon Crystal is sometimes on and off. Like, sometimes it's really beautiful and sometimes it's not. And somebody actually brought this up on a web board where they're like, it feels like anime sometimes when it's shipped overseas to do the animation, it's not always top quality. Like, even though the story is still amazing and the characters and, like, the voice acting is still amazing, and sometimes there's, like, bits and pieces of the anime that look a little wonky. And so I'm like, I love Rama's style. And I'm like, would they mess with that style or would they sort of keep that look?
Well, when it comes to animation, so I always encourage people to reserve judgment until you see the final video, because anime in Japan, it makes it to broadcast like to the wire before it has to go on. Right. And sometimes it's not 100% complete. Yeah. And they go back for what becomes the Blu-ray, like the final Blu-ray masters, and sometimes they don't do anything, sometimes they do a lot. I've been at my desk because we're working on the dub for Sailor Moon Crystal, and as the episodes come in, it's a lot easier for me at my desk to listen to a dub because I can kind of watch it on and off. And going through and watching the first few episodes of Crystal with the final animation, with the dub and everything, it's so amazing. Like, I get all of the feels and then some more. Again, this is specifically on Crystal. Like, there's something about all of Crystal coming together. It's just like, oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, for Ranma, because I really like how the martial arts were animated. Like, they're really, really top notch. Like, they're just really great. But I also think some of those moves would really translate well to modern technology, because you could get more camera angles. Sometimes with the use of CG or just moving things around, and just the way cinematography has changed a little bit since the 90s. So I'm interested in that. The only thing I would worry about is, Ranma has like this like purity and positivity to it, even though it's full of like a lot of characters are just really crappy people. So bad things happen to them. But I would. Yeah, it's like it's so close to being perfect. I would just, if it was redone, I would like to tighten it up a little bit.
You just have to clean up some stuff, make it maybe look a little more modern. Not necessarily change up the animation style, but just clean it up. Like, just the colors, make it a little bit more vivid, and maybe make some animations a little bit more smooth, more crisp. Take advantage of more angles and different things.
Well, and the more space too. Yeah. So anime used to be done 4x3. Right. Now when you have 16:9, you got more scenery to play with. Yeah. So like in Ranma, I could just imagine those big scenes of Jisenkyo, how great they would look in widescreen. Like, to be able to see all of that beauty and just be able to set up those shots. Like, I think the training scene in the spring, like, if it was really wide, would look really, really cool between Ranma and Genma in particular. But that would be really good. What other 90s series? Like, there's some, because I think like idol stuff is starting to like really make a comeback. Idols and Magical Girls.
Yeah.
Another series that was darn near perfect, Utena.
That's what I was thinking of.
Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Yeah, Utena is like darn near perfect, or, any of that stuff.
It's just like cleaning it up and just making it, just making more use of the space and just getting it out there again. I think is so important, because I think it's one of those shows that maybe some people missed over who weren't super into 90s anime, or maybe just like the newer generations that do like Magical Girl stuff and like amazing shows. Like, hey, you would like this one. Go watch Revolutionary Girl Utena. It's awesome.
No, Utena is really amazing. And when it originally came out, right after Sailor Moon, it was like the right time for that show to come out. And I think Ikahara, the director, is a genius. In fact, some of my favorite Sailor Moon episodes were the ones Ikahara directed. Just the way he plays with the scene visually is very, very intriguing. And I think, of course, he's had some shows recently like Penguin Drum and Yuri Kuma. They're just like totally off the rails, just totally off the rails. That's what I like. But some of the things I really love about Utena are like technically filler compared to the manga. Like I really love Nanami. I couldn't imagine Utena without Nanami because she's nuts with the cowbell. Like, she was the OG needs more cowbell girl.
Yeah.
So.
Do you miss that about Sailor Moon Crystal? I mean, it's very close to the manga, and you don't have those filler episodes of Sailor Moon, which some of those were my favorite, Tuxedo Melvin. But, like, do you sort of miss, like, having those episodes where you get to know the girls a little bit more? Because in Crystal, it's much tighter, where you're moving, which is good, but on the other hand, you don't have those individual episodes that focus on Mercury or Mars, or they're outside their sailor suits. Do you miss those at all?
Yeah, I do, but I find that some of my favorite episodes in anime are, like, non-canon. So, like, my favorite episode, Dragon Ball, number 1 with a bullet, is Goku gets a driver's license. It's the best. Best episode in Dragon Ball Z. Don't even try to fight me on it. It's the best thing. One of my favorite episodes in Sailor Moon is the Gone with the Wind story with Rhett Butler, the fat kitty.
Oh, yes! I've forgotten about that one.
Me too.
I really love how that whole episode doesn't even need words because it's done so visually. I love Rhett Butler, and I love learning a little bit more about Luna and learning a little bit more about Zoisite. Right. Because I love villains that have a fear of getting dirty, and Zoisite is just so over the top. It's like, oh, Ratsu. And then Luna having to deal with stuff. So it's. Yeah, but I really appreciate how Crystal sticks so close to the manga. It's like you can love them both for different ways.
Sure, yeah. And that's kind of the awesome thing is like whenever you get a remake or you get a different adaptation, you get a little bit more of that universe. Like it's more to love in a way. So maybe one day we'll see some of our other favorite 90s come back in a different way. But I mean, as long as it keeps the heart and soul of what it is.
Yeah, and I'm really I'm really loving my second time through Crystal. In some ways more than the first time. Maybe because I'm not watching at 3 a.m.
That helps.
Crying over subtitles because we would live tweet Sailor Moon Crystal every time it was on, me and Amy and my associate at Viz, and I was like, it's really rough having all those feelings in the middle of the night. Especially that last episode is just completely spent.
Yeah. Okay, well, listeners, let us know what 90s anime you would like to see come back and how you would like it done.